So you want to get married? Well, you might have to pass the couples class first. That law could become mandatory in Colorado. The proposed measure would require couples to take 10 hours of pre-marriage education classes. 20 hours would be required for second marriages and 30 for third marriages. But is this the government's job? Here for a fair and balanced debate, Sheila Weber, Executive Director of National Marriage Week USA, and Fox News contributor Linda Chavez. Good morning. So is this something the government should be involved in? Is it their relationship to step into?
Well, I think it's fine for governments to incentivize and reward marriage education, but I am concerned about mandating. And I think that a mandate could actually hinder marriage. And where children are concerned, marriage is very important, that marriage attaches fathers more strongly to their children. Marriage lifts women and children out of poverty. We wouldn't want to hinder marriage. So I'm all for a growing, increased movement for marriage education. But I think maybe we could find some creative ways for local and state governments to reward that marriage education.
Sheila, what I'm hearing is you think it would be a hurdle for couples who would get married, which is actually something that bonds people. Linda, do you feel as though this is a hurdle or this is something that would actually help marriage?
Well, I think it's clearly something that will help marriages, and government has a stake in marriage succeeding. The cost of breakup and divorce is often borne by the government because there's a loss of income, and particularly when children are involved, the government can end up holding the bag to the tune of, some estimates are, $150 billion a year spent to take care of children who are the products of either divorce or unwed births. So government has a stake in this. You know, we require, when you get a license to paint toenails, that you have to undergo some education. You have to have a license to drive requires that you learn the techniques of driving. In some states, young people are required to actually take courses. And so I think putting the emphasis on making sure that people have relationship skills, that they've learned to talk to each other about things like finances and whether or not they want to have children. Those are very important, and it's better that that takes place before marriage than to wait until after the marriage starts to fall apart.
I mean, there are many people who would feel, though, that the government should not be deciding whether they have a strong relationship, whether, you know, we've had situations in the past where, you know, they say, don't define my relationship, don't define my marriage. You don't know what kind of spouse I will be. Sheila, do you think that it's the government's business to do this? I mean, and this course is really just an hour's log. There's not a pass-fail.
Well, we were behind the taxpayer cost for divorce and unwed childbearing, so I'm very concerned about the costs that our government is bearing. And I agree with many of the points Linda's making. I just don't think that we can mandate this, although I do think we should find ways to incentivize it. On the other end of the spectrum, though, I know there are people working on divorce prevention education, that when people go into the divorce courts, at least 1/3 of those marriages have the potential to be rescued, and that's huge. Those are huge numbers. We're finding that if people can work through their hurdles and get through the tough times, 5 years later they're happy that they stayed together. So it may be that we could require people to watch a video or take an online course about the high cost, what they're entering into during the divorce process.
Sure. Sheila and Linda, we want to thank you for the great debate on the big relationship talk of marriage. Thanks for being with us.